I got a phone call out of the blue from Joanne McLeod at Artem, and she said, look, the film industry in Scotland's really suffering just now during lockdown, but there's a bigger problem there anyway. She said Hollywood producers, European producers, they'll shoot in Scotland, but they bring their own crew, so Scotland misses out. And if producers in the States and in Europe don't know that we have got amazing crew and facilities, then we're going to have to tell them somehow.
The brief was very strong, actually, the brief, and it stayed from the start of us doing this process, this story, to the end of it. Use our facilities, use our crew, because we are all here. Gerry is the only person and the best person that I thought of for the script. Gerry was the brains behind the Tennent's Lager commercials, the Iron Brew commercials. His portfolio of work in Scotland is huge. It didn't take him long to actually get what we were looking for.
I knew that we had to try and somehow cover off an awful lot of the disciplines that are available in Scotland, you know, and I started to think of what they were. The first one that came into my head was casting, and because I'm a fly fisherman, I thought, oh, that's interesting. Casting means these two things. And then I started to think, well, if you could find a visual metaphor that said something about Scotland visually and poetically that also related to crew and facilities, then there might be an idea there. But the real flame ignited when David Boni got on board, because David Boni is a genius film director, and he works with some genius lighting cameramen and crew.
He's a fantastic photographer, and that's where he stems from, is photography, and you see it in his work.
We were all in lockdown, and it was an excuse to get out, and I think everyone loved that, so we could get out and do what we loved doing most. And I thought the script was lovely, but God bless them, I didn't think they were being very ambitious. So I said, I'm delighted to do it, but let's think big.
Because of the script, he actually thought it was going to be stock footage. We all thought it was going to be stock footage because we were in a lockdown. We weren't allowed to move around the country.
There's a sequence towards the end that says hair, makeup, wardrobe. On my script, I just wrote shaggy-haired Highland cow. When I discussed that with David, he said, well, let's try and do something even better with that. So then the idea came to glamorise this Highland cow, to have, you know, magic bubbles floating in the air, to have her fringe slow motion across her face, you know, with a bit of a kitsch element to it.
When I spoke to Joanne, she made it clear that we had the Scottish film business and all the services at our disposal, and that sounded great. Great fun, we had great access to cameras, crew, locations.
David looked at the script and said, actually, I would like to shoot as much of this as possible.
If we put the film out and it looks cheap, or it's half-cocked, or it's not as good as it could be, then we're doing Scotland and the film industry a disservice.
I then went, oh no, in lockdown, how's that going to happen? So that was our next hurdle.
She did a brilliant job, and she managed to assemble a crew. We got battle reenactors, we got locations, we got editors, animators, graders, production. Everyone got involved and threw themselves at it.
Don't quote me on this, but I think we may be the first crew to actually be shooting in Scotland at that time. Because literally, as soon as they told us that we were able to go out and shoot, we were there. We were out there doing it. There was no challenge at all getting crew. They wanted to do something. Nobody was working at this point. There's no shoots in Scotland at all. The challenge actually was more mobilising the crew on locations and getting the crew to locations, because We couldn't have small buses, we couldn't have vans and like fill it with crew. Everybody had to take their own vehicle to wherever we were shooting or recceing, and that was the worst part of it.
Once we'd got over the initial excitement of being allowed out, then we realised this was going to be quite a hard shift because the crew was to a minimum, so everyone was mucking in, everyone was lifting kit, no one was standing about twiddling their thumbs playing directorial roles or client roles. We just had to get it done, but that was very much the spirit of the project.
They're fairly basic things that we were all completely familiar with now, which is, hand sanitising all the time, so everyone had their own hand wipes. There was plenty of hand sanitising gel around, we all wore masks, we all stayed the right distance from each other. We didn't have anyone cooking food. It wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be, really.
We had 1 day recce, we had a couple of days prepping and 3 days shoot.
I was blown away, not just by the fact that people were giving their time away, but the fact they were all absolutely fired up to make this project happen.
There was a really lovely atmosphere on set. People were excited to be involved, were excited to be out, and also we were making lovely stuff, so you could tell that people were into it. We want this to be good, and because there was literally no budget, actually, if you think of it the other way, it was probably the biggest budget that had been shot in Scotland for a long time because there was so many people involved, so much kit was gifted. If we were to budget this job in retrospect, it would be a really expensive film to make. Probably the most expensive element was the battle sequence that we shot.
The battle scene, the ultimate makeup, was the slashing and the blood and the whatever. And yeah, I didn't think I would get that, but we got it. And very kindly, we got 35 burly men in kilts to do it.
It was fun, and it was really generous of those guys to give us their time. It was generous of everybody. So by the time we got to the end, I'm not surprised it's as good as it is, because it should be, because we've got all the talent here.
When I got to the end, I think, how am I going to finish this? What's a really good ending? And I thought of editors, and then just chop. And as soon as I thought the word chop, I thought of Mary Queen of Scots, and I thought, right, we're giving everything a really familiar Scottish dimension. We're giving ourselves the opportunity to demonstrate filmmaking at its best. It was nice to not just have the beauty of Scotland covering off all the crew as well, but also to having little flashes of humour all the way through it, because I think that's the thing about Scotland. We've got a sense of humour, we're quite down to earth.
The resources and the people in Scotland, we have it all. We have it all. And they were so willing. Everybody wanted to be part of it.
The point of the film is to let the whole world know that if they come to Scotland, we have all the services here, we have the talent, we have the locations, we have everything you need to make a film is here. You don't need to bring your crew to Scotland. We're here for you. How cheesy was that? Gerry will love that. Yeah, I'm shocked I even said that. Oh, Gerry will be proud. Yes, okay, that was a cheesy ending, good. Yeah, no, that's quite funny. Cool. Yeah, that's quite funny.
So Gerry is our fly fisherman because he loves to fly fish. And I'm sure he threw that in the script knowing that he would be on the water at some point.
To be honest, yeah, okay, here's an annoying thing about Gerry. He's in the boat and he's done a sterling performance, but it was quite annoying trying to direct him then, because he was more into the fishing than the film. I think he forgot that we were actually making a film and he was out for the day fishing, so he may not even be aware of that, but so that was fun.
So on the day I paid for a full day's boat rent, and I made absolutely sure I got out in the morning and caught a few trout myself before the crew came back and filmed me casting in the afternoon.
He did want a chance to go out and go fishing, yes, and he loved it, and he brought back a fish and he gave it to me.